The Johnsky is a YouTube channel run by and run for people over the age of 13. People under the age of 13 should click off of this video right now, or watch with a parent or guardian. Viewer discretion is advised.
What's this freaking today, Militiamen? My name is King Prime, and welcome back to another video here on the YouTube channel. Today, we will be taking a look at the final member of our Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Lightning Collection Remastered team, that being the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Lightning Collection Remastered. Green Ranger. Yes, we have our beloved Tommy here in the flesh, or in the cardboard at least. And I apologize. This box has been through a little bit of a flood. I'm not gonna lie. So we're gonna do our best to review it, and then we'll get into the figure. But before we do that, let's take a look at what, of course, it comes in. Of course, on the top here, we do have the 30th anniversary Power Rangers 30th anniversary logo, which is now a few years outdated. Sorry for the delay, gentlemen. And then on the very top of the box there, we have the Lightning Collection Remastered logo as well. On the front of the box, we have Tommy playing the Dragon Dagger, looking very nice, looking forward at us. I'm not sure if all the other Rangers were looking forward, but Tommy is, and that feels really nice. Lightning Collection Remastered logo up the top right there, and then Tommy without his shield in the energy aura field. Down at the bottom, Mighty Morphin Green Ranger, plastic-free packaging, Hasbro logo. All on the side, MMPR logo, as well as Mighty Morphin Green Ranger with Tommy with his helmet on morphing. And then on the other side, the same 30th anniversary mural that we see there with the 30th logo at the bottom. And then on the back, we have that same photo that we saw on the side of the Green Ranger morphing, the 30th logo again at the top right, and everything that comes with the figure. On the bottom, it has Tommy Oliver from Green No More. More on this later. And then Mighty Morphin Green Ranger at the bottom. Some Lego jargon, and a GameStop sticker. And that is about it. I say it in every single video, my friends. But you only really care about the packaging if you're a box or card collector, which I'm not. I'm here to open and review toys, and that is just what I want to do. Freeze frame. Freeze frame unfreeze, and here we have Tommy out of the packaging. But before we take a look at him, let's take a look at what he comes with, which, as you can see, is not a little, actually quite a lot. And we'll talk about this in a moment here. First off, let's take a look at probably the most striking accessory here. If you've seen my previous reviews for all the other Rangers, you'll know that there's obviously some things that are the same, like the blade blasters, the hands with the morpher, the helmet, the effects. But the candle here is the only one that isn't really in any of the other reviews. It is solely, let me move Tommy here so I can get a better fix on the focusing. The candle here is the only accessory that isn't really seen in any other figure, and that's because it's exclusive here to Tommy, because it's said to be part of the Green No More arc, even though I think technically, and I saw this on a reel on YouTube, it's been a while since I've seen MMPR, guys, so don't flame me here. This is not from the Green No More, it's from the Green Candle, which aired like not too long before Green No More, but it definitely aired before. And so it's interesting that Green No More is what's mentioned on the box. Just a strange thing to mention. Either way, it's very plain. It's just a candle with a little yellow paint on the tip for the wick, on a green pedestal, which isn't very nice. It's kind of bent. I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of got some Bill Clinton going on leaning to the left there. I'm not too opposed to it. Candle's not removable or anything. It's just a nice little tribute piece. Next, of course, we do have, and I put these in every single review, make very short work of them because I don't really give a shit about them. The blade blasters, and they matter especially least to Tommy because he doesn't even have the holster for one. He has the holster for the Dragon Dagger. But either way, the blade blasters in blaster, blade, and holstered mode. Of course, if you so chose, you could make like the 93 figure, and you could put the blade blaster in the pouch there. It is the same sculpt, even though it is the correct color. It can go in there as holstered. It can go in his hand as blasting, and it can go in his hand as blading as well, although it is kind of ridiculous to do because of the way that his hands are shaped. I never pay attention to the blade blasters anyway. Everyone who knows me knows that. So I'm going to put these in a bin, and I'm going to forget about them because that's what I do. So anyway, continuing, you do have, of course, these green power effects, like aura effects that surround Tommy at any given time. You could have him in there, set up, you know, with incredible aura, as many people will tell you that Tommy had. I usually use these to reenact a morphing sequence, and so like on a shelf, if I have them on, I have them surrounding to do like a morphing effect. And speaking of morphing effect, you do of course have the alternate hands, one of which is for that morphing effect, but included is also the separate power morpher itself, the Green Ranger specific one with the gold faceplates and the dragon coin with the green energy in the middle there. Looks very nice, I'm not gonna lie. Looks very, very good, as all the morphers that have been included do. It's just the light that's making the gold plastic seem just a little bit too transparent, but I promise it isn't. It looks perfectly fine. And of course, you can hook this onto the morphing hand, and you can swap out the hand, put in the morphing versions, and you can pose all of your Rangers morphing. This is, of course, a standard feature for all the Lightning Collection Remastered figures. They all can do this. Not an exact science. Obviously, there's going to be some jank involved, but you can get a pretty good morphing pose in there with the open power morpher. I think I might put Tommy in just like this on my display, but I'm not sure. Tell me, what do you think I should do? Additionally, though, Tommy does have these fisted hands, so you can, of course, have him putting up his dukes. Every good ranger needs to know how to fight, and Tommy is no different. He can get his fists in there, give you some yeah. That was so dumb. You can have his fists there. I know there's different hand accessories for pretty much every ranger. Those included, not necessarily always fists, but the fists are appreciated in this case because without them, the only thing you have left is this hand right here, which is meant exclusively for playing the Dragon Dagger. So preemptively, before I show you the dagger, we'll put this one right in there, and we can put in just, you know, the regular grabbing hand right in the other side, and we can finally take a look at what everyone's been waiting for, the dagger itself. Probably the coolest part of any Green Ranger figure is seeing the dagger. The dagger itself is extremely well detailed, and I think it's probably my favorite accessory included in this set. It is so well detailed. I don't think it's really missing anything except for like the gold trim on the handle. The trim on the holes for the flute are painted out. The center green part is picked out. The blade, of course, the edge itself is picked out. Both sides of the dragon coin are on there. All three of the buttons are painted. The pommel is painted. The reed is painted with that little gold thing that goes around to the bottom of the dagger, and it is just perfect. I mean, there's even just like a hint of a like place to breathe into for the dagger, which I think is incredible. Hasbro really knocked it out of the park with the painting on this. But of course, it wouldn't be the dagger if Tommy couldn't play it. So all you need to do that, take it over here, have him put his hands up to his lips, and you can put the dagger in his hand like so. And I'm not going to lie, it doesn't really stay put that well, but you can still fudge it to get it to stay. Bring it up to his mouth like so, and then you can have him with his open grabbing hand, grasping kind of the pommel of the dagger, like so. And it is a soft, bendy plastic, so you can move it around just a little bit. And it's obviously going to look a little bit jank with Tommy and his civilian head playing it. Everyone's obviously used to him playing it with helmet on, which we'll look at in a second here. But yes, you can get him playing just like that. But of course, if you're not satisfied with him playing with civilian head, you can of course just pop that off and replace it with the helmet like so. Of course, it doesn't look the best, but he's playing it, and I won't accept anyone saying that he isn't. I'm not gonna lie, it would make it a lot easier if this hand was articulated up and down instead of in and out. As you can see, it has an in and out joint right there. If it was more like the morphing hand and had an in and out joint, so you could articulate it sideways, that would be a whole lot better, but of course it is not here. So yeah, that's kind of a bummer. Of course, the dagger can go in its intended place, right there in the holster, and there it will remain. But now that we are finally able to take a look at Tommy himself, let me switch him back to his civilian head to do that. And as we can see, and I'll get in nice and close here, the head sculpt looks enough like Jason David Frank. I think from some angles it really nails it. But like from front on, that's definitely not him. From there, yeah, that's him. The hair is very flat. I'm not gonna lie, but this could have done just a little bit of brushing over it to kind of make his locks pop. But unfortunately, they're not. It's just all flat. I can deal with that. Honestly, it's not the worst thing in the world. I think that the face sculpt is there. His lips are painted, but everything else is kind of just a flat skin tone plastic. But of course, the face scan technology has done pretty well with capturing GDF's likeness here, so I'm not going to give it that much of a negative points. But for the rest of his suit, he does look pretty good. Of course, the big thing that everyone's going to note is that the dragon shield did not come with Tommy. It came with Jason, and is not here included in the set. I get it for Green No More, or maybe it was actually the green candle where he transferred the power. I think it was the green candle, so it was wrong on both boxes now in hindsight, which is interesting. But it makes sense that this is without a dragon shield. Either way, I like that the tri-diamond design of the Zyuranger suits is carried over into the Power Rangers Lightning Collection Remastered figures. It would be kind of weird if he just had a completely green torso, but going down, of course, he does have the green cuffs on the edge of his gauntlets there with the green diamonds going all the way around. Very nice. Of course, his belt is correct with those two black lines going around the entire duration of it. And then, of course, he does have the morpher right there on his belt buckle, closed and non-removable. Again, it would be super cool if it was removable. Unfortunately, it's not, so it's fine. The Dragon Dagger holster is painted correctly in black. I'm not quite sure if it's missing detail. Here's a picture of it, and you can determine if it's missing detail or not. Again, with these Lightning Collection figures, the suits aren't very muscular. They are very accurate to how the show depicts them as just like, skin tight. And as you can see, the folds of the suit around his crotch area going down into his thighs. Of course, he does have those same triangle patterns on his boots with the nice shiny gold rim. I love the way the gold is painted on this figure and going down to his feet. So mostly just reused parts because that's all Lightning Collection ever was. Now it is complete with Jason, or with Tommy here. So I think that's very nice. Moving on to articulation though, you do have, and I'll show you here, the joint, a barbell joint at his head. It means you can get a very nice range of motion with Tommy's head here. No ounce, unfortunately, no like real ounce, I guess you could say. You can get a little bit of an ounce forward, which is very nice. I do appreciate a good ounce. But might be a little bit better with the Ranger helmet, which, if we put that on real quick, it's okay. It'll live with it, and I'll keep the helmet on for now. Of course, at the shoulders, his arm can go about 90 degrees outwards. It can't really go up, maybe just smidgen, but not all that much. Of course, it can rotate all around. As the inside of his shoulder, you do have a nice butterfly joint. So you can get that far end of an extension and that far back of one. So you do get some nice butterfly joint action there. You do have an upper bicep swivel. Let's get that to rotate properly. An upper bicep swivel as well as a double jointed seamless elbow joint. His gauntlets do not move. However, you do have a 360 degree rotation at the wrist. And depending on which hand, either an in and out or an up and down joint there. He does have a diaphragm joint, which is very nice and loose. I don't really like it to be that loose, but it stays when it's articulated, which I like, as well as a actual blab crunch, which is ratcheted. As you can see, it can go that far forward and about that far back, so you can get an insane arc. Nothing on his waist proper, which is kind of strange, and nothing on his waist actually at all, which kind of sucks. That's a missed opportunity, I think, for articulation, but it is replaced by these drop-down hip joints. So you can drop down the hips and get a very nice kick forward. at least theoretically. Let's try that with his other leg. Yeah, that's more of a Tommy kick. And then you can go all the way out that far and about that far back. I do think that, yeah, you can force it a little bit higher, but it's going to be just a little bit scuffed because of that angle there. You do have an upper thigh swivel as well as a double knee bend there. It is a seamless joint as well as an upper boot cut and a down at the foot, up at the foot, and big ankle pivot. So overall, pretty standard Lightning Collection articulation for the late line, but that's about it for Tommy's articulation. So without further ado, let's bring in some other figures to show how Tommy compares to the rest of his team. Freeze frame.
Sometimes when I morph, I can't help but notice this gigantic explosion right behind me for no apparent reason.
I assume you're referring to the residual energy runoff that is sometimes necessary to clear the suit's biofield channels during the morph.
I'm referring to the 6-story high fireballs, like that one, right there. Now, could that happen to me in the kitchen or something?
Freeze frame on freeze, and here is Tommy next to our previous Power Rangers Lightning Collection review. The Red Ranger Jason, who is wearing that dragon shield. For any Tommy fans wondering, yes, I'm going to switch over the dragon shield in the last shot. Don't worry. Either way, here we go. Continuing on, we do have our Yellow Ranger Trini. Here we have our Pink Ranger and Tommy's love interest. I'm sorry, Cat, Tommy's supporters, but she'll always be his #1 gal. Here we have Tommy next to the Blue Ranger Billy, and next to the Black Ranger, who I still can't get to stand very much properly, Zach. And that is actually not only the first time I've had all 6 of these guys together, but one hell of a group shot. I just wish that, of course, Jason had his unmasked head, because it's going to be a little bit weird there with having him be the only one helmeted. But I digress. This is a pretty accurate shot, even though, these 2 reuse a body, I think, at least without the skirt piece, and then these 4 reuse a body, so it's all pretty much the same. They all look very good together, and I'm glad for that. But without further ado, let's get on to my final thoughts, so I can tell you exactly what I think about this guy. Freeze frame.
手で輪っかを作って横向きます。その中に足を入れて戻す。今度は反対です。入れて戻す。
Freeze frame on freeze. So overall, what can I really say about this guy that hasn't been said already? First, I'm going to ask you to ignore this damn light bulb that I have illuminating my set. I don't usually review 6-inch figures. Many viewers have already weighed in on the Remastered collection and said that it's kind of a flop or a dud or a flash in the pan, something that wasn't really needed by the community. I think that it served as sort of a send-off to the line as a whole. And I liked the Lightning Collection line. And I especially liked the Remastered series because I didn't own any of the MMPR Rangers. I didn't really plan on doing that. I'm not the biggest MMPR fan, but having all these guys now, it feels nice. And to finish off with Tommy really does feel fitting. Overall, I think this figure is completely fine. I don't really find too much wrong with it. Of all the QC stuff, I think the most QC issues I had was on the Yellow Ranger. Tommy here really only has one, which is the candle just being a little bit bent. I'm not overall too upset with this figure. I think it looks perfectly fine on the shelf, especially with that nice dragon shield inclusion. And I think it works perfectly fine mechanically. I found very little wrong with it, and I personally really enjoy playing around with it. I'm not here to eulogize JDF. I'm not here to eulogize the line. I'm here to open interview toys, and that is just what I want to do. For all you longtime viewers who've stuck with me for over a year and have endured the one, or depending on who you are, the 2 hiatuses that I've been on recently, thank you. You can now consider Power Month 2024 concluded in 2025. I finally made it. I'm glad I did with this figure as that last domino to fall. So if you like Tommy, or you like the Green Ranger, you like Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, or you like Power Rangers in general, make sure you share this video with your friends, share it with your Facebook groups, all that good stuff. If you like the content, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe down below. Keeps helping the channel grow, keeps helping me pump out this content. That's going to be pretty much it for this time, my friends. Thank you all so very much for watching, and as always, peace.